G'day guys, sorry it's taken such a long time to get this next video up. I finally got another camera to replace the one that my dog smashed. I've been a little bit busy while I've had no camera. So some of the things that I told you I'd do I've done already. I've done some extra things. Thanks very much to all the subscribers. In a minute I'll jump up the camera off the tripod and go for a bit of a wander around. Show you some of the things that I've done. Need a little bit of polishing and a little bit of fixing. Some of the things that I'm working on, and I will film those ones today. Okay, so I had a couple of small ruins hanging around before. I just based those onto a piece of hardboard with a little bit of plaster on the surface to give that undulation effect, that uneven ground. Yes, and they need to be painted still. So I just touched up the bases on those ones. These rock mounds were looking pretty sad before. So again, this is just a piece of hardboard with foam rocks covered in a plaster and sand, glue, and I think I might even put some flour in this one mix. And then just different sorts of green foliage, different sorts of flocks. The bases haven't been painted. I don't paint my bases, I flock them. Another small ruin, etc. So anyway, these are a couple of things that I've been working on. They need a little bit of touching up, a little bit of finishing off. Okay, so here's a couple of things that I've been working on. These have a foam core base. They're just chunks of foam covered with a plaster glue, and I think there might be a tiny bit of sand in this plaster just to give the surface a little bit of rigidity. I might do those again before I paint them, depends on how lazy I get. Here's a bigger mound of them, and I don't know if you can see the sort of effect that this is going to have. This one is not really what I'm looking for. It's too gritty, too grainy. That's because I covered these in sand first. I put some PVA down and put some sand on it, and as soon as I did that I realized that was the wrong sort of effect, and so then I gooped them with some of this mix. If anyone knows where I can find the video for how the Kamloopian makes his goop, let me know, because I'd like to see how he does it. I can't quite remember, and I can't find the video. There's no video labelled how to make the goop. Then a couple of old heels. These are just real crappy old polystyrene foam bits. This, I think my brother tried to paint and sprayed it and the surface all melted away, but this added some nice undulation. And then I've just got to paint up the surfaces here. I'll reflock this with some better grade flocks and make it look nice. So can you see from up there? You can see from up there. A couple of rocks, this boulder mound, a couple of small hills. Okay, here is the building that I was talking about before. So I've added a door, which I've just noticed in the camera is not straight, but that's cool. Added a rock effect around the bottom. Now I got really lazy with this rock effect. Really lazy. All I did was cut out some strips of cardboard, glued them onto the surface, and then with a textured paint I gave it 2 coats. Just to stimulate a rock effect, because I couldn't be bothered trying to carve something out of some foam and glue it on there, or use these bloody Herstarts blocks and sort of glue stuff on there. And so I got lazy and went the old Games Workshop rock method, put a little bit of cardboard on there and then texture over it. And I only gave it 1 door to make it kind of like a strong house. Maybe this might have been a, I don't know. I've got to redo the base because it's full of stones. Anyway, I'm going to make a mix to put on the base here and press it up against the walls a little bit, because there are still some gaps in there. Little chimneys, couple of bits of straws for the chimneys, and the internals of the wattle and dab sidings. I should have shown you how I was doing this, because as I was doing this the other night, the camera was sitting there and I didn't do anything with it. So, sorry guys. So a bit of finishing up for this today. Some small huts and stuff that need to be finished off. Better flocking on the base and stuff. Anyway, nice quick update. Sorry it's taken so long, guys. Thanks for staying tuned. And hopefully, I should get a whole bunch of stuff filmed today. Okay, now I tried to be patient but got impatient. I'm going to paint these right now. So I thought I might as well show you what I'm doing. These were just the clumps of foam glued onto a piece of, in this case this is corkboard base, because it doesn't need to be huge, it's got no overlay or anything. Doesn't need huge amounts of support. Chunks of foam covered in a plaster and glue mix. Some black spray paint. This is White Knight Squirts, it's a flat black. It's $8 from the hardware store. And I'm just going to go ahead and paint these. I'm sure you've all undercoated stuff before, so I'll just real quickly show you just a flat black spray. You could also use a normal black paint for this, jet black. I just use these things here. This is just a wattle colour sampler. It's just white paint that they tinge with something. In this case I've got jet black. So I use a lot of these. They're only $6 or $7, $8 for half a litre of latex acrylic house paint. Okay, real quick one on these rocks here. I've got my 3 different shades of paint. Just going to progressively dry brush further and further up. I might add a little bit of brown or something in there. For anyone who's interested, this is called Oak Heart from the Wattle colour range. And just a normal dry brush. First one's going to be fairly heavy because I don't want the rock to be black. I just want the black undercoat there. So this one's going to be relatively heavy all over. So just keep on going through doing this. Just getting rid of most of the black, just leaving it in the very sort of bottom recesses, and that will be sufficient for the purposes of these rocks. Almost done. This is fairly quick, guys. You could chuck out like 20 of these little rock piles in fully completed, or painting stage anyway, in about an hour. And that's it. That's that bit done. Alright guys. Okay, so these have been outside drying a little bit. Time for the second dry brush. After I've done this dry brush, I'll do a black wash on it. So I've made that black wash here. It's just a little bit of black paint with a lot of water in it. It should be sufficient for the purposes of what we're trying to achieve, which is just to highlight the shadings again. So again, just another normal dry brush, but this time it's going to be a little bit lighter than the other one. We've done our dry brushing on these rocks here. I'm going to give them a wash shortly. I'll pick you back up once I've done that. Okay, so everything's been undercoated. I haven't really waited too long for that undercoat to dry. I'm just going to now... Oh, should have cleaned my brush. So we should find now that we can just quite literally